he laid down like as much wisdom as on me as much as possible. Like when we first connected, he just saw me kind of working my ass off, but I was being stupid and dumb. And he kind of just jumped in there. He's like, "Hey, listen, little Goggins, let me put you in your place." And it was great. Just I appreciate you for sharing all that knowledge to a person that you don't even know.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a problem with sharing knowledge because knowledge was passed on to me. So I want to pass on the knowledge to people, because I didn't have that early on in obstacle course racing or anything. We didn't have anything. We was kind of just firing away, and so I was happy to just pass along. Even Vic, we talk. I call him or whatever, and we just kind of pass along information. Same thing with Julius. I've been training with him for well, probably about 5 years now, maybe 5 6 years now. Once I met him, he seen what I was doing and he wanted to be a part of it. And the rest is history with me and him.
Yeah,
So
I think
yeah,
that's important, man. Because I didn't know about any of this stuff until a few years ago, and I wish I knew about it. Like I was in the military years and years ago, and I was in pretty good shape back then. But like running wasn't really something that I was trying to like pursue. But I
right.
could run. I was much lighter too. I was like 175 pounds, 180 pounds, just soaking wet. And it's the thing is when you jump into this thing a little bit later, in your 30s, um, 30. Well, you jumped in your 30s. I jumped in my 30s. Dan, you jumped into your 30s. And it sounds like we all had some type of background, some type of athletic background, and um, it's important to like look at these things in context and what would you have wanted somebody else to provide to you? What information would you have wanted 10 years ago? You know what I mean? And that's kind of why I like having this type of platform. And I want you guys on here because I think you all can kind of, even though you had your other athletic background, but this seems to be the passion today. And I
Right.
know hearing us talk about these things is going to be impactful to some other people. So but I think let's see. I want to get into something that I almost signed up for, and I didn't go because I had a race that weekend prior, which I talked about it on the previous episode. But Hyrox Miami on the beach in the sand, running on the sand. I've
Mm.
run on the beach before a few times. It is not necessarily the funnest thing if you're trying to like run fast, but it's okay if you want to get a good workout in.
Yeah.
But Dan, tell us about that because that looked crazy to me.
It was intense. I mean, I was lucky to have a couple obstacle course races here in Jacksonville Beach in the past. So I was like, okay, I've done it. I felt that pain. It hurt before, and we could let it hurt again. But knowing like when I run the beach, we always run like the hard sand. So to go through the soft sand on that side, so it was, if you look at a square, the course, like it was hard here, but then that one strip was like dead man's land near the
Mm.
ocean. It was soft. You had to really focus on picking up your knees and your cadence, and don't let the sand take you over. And then the farmer's carry was in the sand as well, so that was different. So that caused a shitload of sand underneath my front big toes, making my big toe kind of go up a little bit for the last 2 rounds of running. Um,
So
but
no shoes. You ain't had no shoes on, right?
I had regular shoes on.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah. I can't imagine doing that without shoes. Oh my god.
Definitely
Like
not.
I saw some guys doing it. I was like,
Uh,
it looks cool, but that's just dumb. Like it didn't make sense. Like what are you
But
trying
it's
to
like, how would you know? Like if you flew in from another place,
with no
my
shoes?
you. Well, and that's the thing. Like you had texted me. It's like, I wonder what shoes I should wear. You had like a
I
few
brought
options,
3.
and that's why I was like, just bring all of them and
Yeah.
try it out before you
right.
start racing, right? Because that's what
Yeah.
I would do. Like I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I had
Yeah.
my my Ultra OCR shoes. They're like a low cleat. They're not too thick. That would have been perfect. But the problem with them is for Hyrox, you need like a little kick, like that little bounce off the ground.
Mm.
You can't, like, if you run with those OCR shoes, like, it's dead. Like,
Right.
there's no help. So my Saucony or Brooks Tempo, whatever they were perfect. I mean, I had no problems whatsoever, other than the sand coming in the front toes. Some people put duct tape on the front of their toes, and Dylan Scott took another pair of socks or something and then duct taped them around his ankles. But there's no way I could think about doing something like that. In hockey, like, it's a joke, like, that you need duct tape on your ankles, like, if you're not a good skater. So I'm not doing it. But it was good. I mean, people complaining about the sled going uphill, and I crushed the sled. It felt great. Like, that was my cup of tea, man. It was cool. And I used that one side when I got out of the soft sand, and then I used that one side to kind of catch my breath. And then that long slide, I opened up and I passed people, and it was cool. Like, you were taking souls, like, you were just like, people were like, oh shit. So it was a great feeling. And then you kind of use that soft sand to catch your breath with high cadence and then come back. It was almost like speed work, basically.
Okay. I mean, watching you go from OCR to hybrid, I think hybrid is probably more your bread and butter because you got so much power. You got a lot of power. And I watch you transition over to high, and it's translating for you. I can see that. You got a lot of power, and Hyrox or Deca, either or, you good to go. And I was looking at your numbers from last year for World Championship. I'm like, yo, he is right there with the elite for, I don't know if it's strong or whichever one. I was like, he's right. I'm like, he's right there. So, and you just, something you just kind of jumped into for the most part, really.
I did. I just fell into a last minute, and I got that when I finished World Championship. It was such a high. Like, I felt so good. But I spent most of the year doing Hyrox training. So then once I crammed in DECA training. Like, it just, you know what I mean? And then it all clicked.
Yeah.
And I was there and I was watching the elite guys go for DECA strong. It's like, man, this is where I should have been if I just focused on this, you know? So when I finished, I had the schedule already scheduled for like Anaheim, and then Chicago, North American, and Houston for Hyrox, and just started like canceling races. Like, my mind wasn't there. I was like, do I do DECA? Do we do Hyrox? How do we do both? I got people saying you can't do both. It's tough,
I don't
man.
think you can. No, you can do both, but you're not going to be satisfied. You know, you have to decide. Yeah, you're not going to be satisfied when you know what, I could have ran this like 5 minutes faster or like 6 minutes faster.
Yeah.
Like, and especially with hybrid, there's no particular tried and true training methodology because every athlete is different. Every athlete's coming from a different background. But I will say what I noticed, like, when we did that workout at Get It Core, you're very efficient with your movement patterns. Right. So, like, you were telling me like I should do strong. I've done one strong, but I did like a back-to-back strong in a DECA mile, like literally like 15 minutes apart.
Yeah,
so,
you'll
like,
kill it though. I mean, you have that built
yet. I haven't, because I don't work on those movements. Like, only thing is the ski erg and and the rower, but outside of that, I don't work on those. But I will say, I don't know if you're just naturally efficient with your movement patterns, but I did notice that even with the sled push, like, you push the sled pretty efficiently. You know what I mean? So and that's not something that
didn't you just win that Elevate heavy?
Well, so that was different. So for anybody that wants to know what that is, that's like, it was 90 seconds of work, and it was like 5 events, I think. So the first event was 185-pound squat.
Yeah.
And so as many reps as you can go for 185
That's
pounds
cool.
in 90 seconds. The next thing was bench press, which I think was like 185. Maybe the squat was 220. The squat was 225. The bench press was like 185. I think that's what got me over the top, because I was close with like the squats, but I don't think a lot of the people who like train that style have the upper body strength that I have.
I missed this.
Oh yeah. So it
I
was
didn't see it. I didn't see anything about this.
yeah, it was like in December, and I was
Okay.
like injured too. I wasn't running at the time,
Yeah. Well,
so
that's
Okay.
my point. Like, you're super strong. Like, that's why I was saying try to get the movements down for Deca, man. Deca strong, because you'll be right there.
Hmm.
yeah, I definitely want to get more into it. I'll probably get into it this summer, like and get a little bit more specific,
Yeah. Just get a
because
baseline. I
hmm
mean, I like Hyrox Miami. I just went there. I didn't have any, like, every station for Deca strong. I know what my time is, but for Hyrox, I literally just went there and just whatever my heart rate was gonna handle, and that that was it. So now I got a
Right.
baseline. So now I got something to work on.
what would
Right.
you? So would you do another beach high rocks?
Hell yeah, yeah. That was hard. That was the hardest Hyrox I've ever done. It took everything out of my soul. I redlined for an hour and 23 minutes out of 125. I mean, I my body. I trusted my body. I slowed down when I needed to, and I wasn't stupid. Like, if this was me racing Hyrox Miami last year, like, especially before talking to Marquette, like, I would have died. I would have been like walking, but my body kept on, and like my engine is allowing me to pass people. Like, I think in the fifth station, I was like in seventh or eighth place, and then I finished off my wave third. So,
Mm.
but there's other people, other waves, but that just shows all that slow run, all that 80-20, that book like Marquette told me to read. Like, it really works. It's just, it sucks when the people like me that want the instant results right now. And I was telling one of my clients about it today. I was like, hey, like, cadence takes time, man, and it'll piss you the fuck off. Sorry to curse, but like, it will piss you off because you'll be like, man, I'm doing it right. Why is my cadence only like 168, 167? And then you realize you're not doing it right. So it's
Yeah.
just that
Yeah,
turnover you got to
cadence.
practice.
It's interesting because my cadence on the track is always good, but as
Yeah.
soon as I get into the long runs, it's just like
Yeah. When we go fast, it's easier. When we go slower, it's harder.
because it's
And
the form. It's a form thing, and
yeah.
I'm like, can you focus on solo? Can you focus on form and cadence at the same? Because it's not like the same thing, right? In terms of like
Right.
where how high are your knees going, what type of stride do you have? And it's something I think about because I'm like I focused on cadence for a while, but I don't know if I was actually running in the correct form.
Right.
So now it's like uh for instance, like this the High Rocks Dallas Fort Worth that I did, I wasn't necessarily as fit as I needed to be, but I did a lot of track work which helped my running form where I was just it wasn't like I felt like I was running any faster than the last race that I had, but I was, even though I was more tired, but my running form, I could just feel it. Like my strides were longer strides.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
but I know my cadence wasn't 180. So,
Yeah. I mean, that's what happens sometimes, like when we feel like we're reaching, because mentally we want to do better. So instead we start taking longer steps out in desperation, but instead just realizing it's like energy output. So, like, I don't know if there's like a Lamborghini with Jeep tires, like, that's not efficient, right? So it's like
Right.
we gotta, when you realize, it's weird because when you realize you do like a tempo run one day with your knees high and leaning forward from the ankles, and keeping your arms not sideways, not hopping up and down, like all these little things, and you'll realize that you have more energy and you're seeing your numbers. It's kind of cool.
hmm
Yeah. Because see, I don't train cadence. I've looked into it, but
Yeah.
I was like, nah, I'm gonna stick with this heart rate thing and
Yeah.
pace thing, and certain things work for certain people. Um, but cadence just never worked out for me. So I was like, I'm just gonna stay with the heart rate. It's been working out pretty good for me trying to, keep my heart rate where it need to be. I mean, when you're racing, you can't really say, oh, I want my heart rate to be here if you're racing.
Yeah.
Now, if you're pacing, that's different.
Yeah.
But racing, heart rate goes out the window. You can glance down at it and be like, well, I'm redlining now, but
It is what it is.
I'm racing, right? So yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So you would do it. So the beach, I wanted to actually be there right?
Yeah.
I wasn't about to pay money just to go watch other
It was a
people
cool
race.
vibe.
So, but that was the thing. I think what I see with Hyrox and what they're trying to do in the United States is test different things out. And in Europe, you don't have these specialized go ruck, beach race, these experimental things that nobody's going to qualify in the Elite 15 for any of these categories. But I do think it's smart um, for them to kind of use the United States as a testing ground for certain things. But they just need to have more races. If they're going to have these test races, they need to have more like legitimate qualifying races, right?
Yeah.
So because it's very confusing in terms of like this year's qualification standards. I commented on, I think what was his name, Richard Diaz. He posted something the other day.
Yeah.
It wasn't about what I was about to say. His was more so about weight classes, and
I told him, yeah. I said, yeah.
Yeah. I put a thumbs up in there.
But I was just like, so you can race and be the second place person of the day, the second fastest person at a Hyrox for everybody that shows up in men's pro or women's pro.
Yeah.
And still not qualify for the world championship.
Which is crazy.
But the person who ran an open category in your same, like you're not qualifying for age group in pro if you're second place, if the other person is the same age as you that came in first place. But the person who ran an open that's the same age as you that came in first place qualifies. And I think that's very confusing in terms of
in Hyrox, Hyrox Miami, the 40 to 40-year-old, 40 to 44 guy by himself. There was no other guys, so he's automatically going to the world championship. And then the 40 to 44 girl was the only one as well, so she's going to the world championship.
So you raced pro then, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, the pros still go in their rightful age group. You know, like even if Rich Ryan wins third place overall, he's still first place in age group.
Yeah, because there's so at world championships there's no open weight. Everything is pro weight. So that's why it's confusing, because if you qualify in the open, you're not really getting the best person from that particular race. And I'm not saying the best person in the world, because obviously like the larger races are going to have larger pools of athletes and whatnot. But I do think you should get credit for showing up to a race, right? I don't think it should just be ranked by, let's look at the fastest time. Like who came to this venue, and they need to be acknowledged for this particular venue. But everybody's doing pro weight at the World Championship unless they change it.
Yeah.
Next season. So
even open.
If you qualify for World Championships in the open category during the season, you have to do pro weight at World Championships. If you've never touched a pro weight sled, you touch one at World Championships.
That's what they did last year.
Yeah.
Good. They should do that then.
But that's where it's like, why even race in pro during the season?
Yeah, it's almost like a strategic move. Maybe I should race the open and get a ticket to the World Championship.
I don't know.
So you can win first. So you gonna win first place every race then, huh?
Well, that's not.
I don't know. Who knows?
So, he gonna win first place every race.
You gotta look. So I've looked at the times.
I like that heavyweight though, man.
I do too. So and I've looked at the times. It's not like people in open aren't fast. I think there's people that are faster than me racing in.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm not like.
That's where the track guys are hiding.
Yeah, like it's not about that. I'm just saying it's like the competition and the rules are confusing. That's all I'm saying. But I think they'll work on it. I know Begita said that they're trying to get together like a pool of like an athletes panel. And I'm just like, make sure you got some age group people on there as well. Don't just include elite 15 people, because it's not like that's not the majority, right? That's just a 1% of people.
Exactly.
So,
they're a whole different breed. I mean, they're like almost minor league professional people. They're taking it so seriously.
Yeah, and they're getting faster and faster, you know.
I know.
So, but that's everybody. Everybody's getting faster. So
yeah.
So.
That's why I just kind of stand and let y'all guys do the Hyrox, and I just like to watch y'all run, because y'all like it. I did the mixed doubles, and I was like, it was cool to do mixed doubles, but functional, realistically, doing like functional fitness events, that's not my thing. I prefer to just do like OCR,
Yeah.
Mhm.
kind of give me a little bit of everything. Just even me doing DECA, training for DECA a whole year, burned me out. It burned me out a lot doing that Hyrox/DECA, man. So
Yeah.
It can be
OCR,
confusing.
yeah,
Like, what do
that
I?
training,
How
They're
much
different.
running should I
it
be doing?
different. Yeah,
You
So
know?
different. Speed versus survival.
yeah,
Yeah. But so
Oh,
get
and then
get.
you won the podium, right? With your partner?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I know. I just wanted to make sure people knew.
yeah.
Yeah, you got to put that out there. Like that's important. You know what I'm
We got
saying?
you.
Like it's definitely important.
I didn't know that was important. So,
Well,
I
I think
just,
it's important. I'm gonna tell you why it's important. It may not be to me. It's not about like a pat on the back. Like in the moment, you feel like, oh, this is great, but after it's over, right? And
right,
to be honest, like the people that are already in the space, I don't think they really care that much, like about anybody else's particular accolades, right? Because they're
right,
trying to do their own thing. So I respect that, but I do think considering uh the faces that you see in Elite 15, and I respect all those men and women. Uh, it's important. Like you got three uh, Black Americans here. It's a European sport. Just to let people know, like, hey, we're doing our thing too in this space. You know,
Yeah.
and it's not about diminishing it what anybody else is doing, but
right,
the stories are important because there's other people who may want to get into this sport. They might
Hmm.
be
right,
faster than all of us, and I'm like, hey, if I can be the voice, if we can all three of us to be a voice, to get
right.
those people involved, tell them like, yeah, I had a podium. You know what I mean? So that's how I look at it. You
Yeah.
know,
Okay. Yeah.
but let's get into what you've been training for, and you might be. I might have convinced myself to maybe. I haven't committed to it yet, but I'll let you talk about it. So,
The 50K, uh, straight 50K, not a Spartan race 50K. In a desert. I wanted to do something that was something unique. I can do a 50K anywhere in the United States, any mountain. You can do a 50K anywhere. But I chose the salt flats uh, with nothing there to do that 50K because I felt that was a big challenge. You know, again, you can do a 50K anywhere, just like you do a marathon anywhere. It's there. But if you want a unique experience, I chose the desert. So the training for that it's been long. A lot of running, a lot of slow running. Um, so far, it's been pretty good. Um, Trying to stay without any injuries is always key. Of course, I got some nicks and bangs training, but it's I'm not gonna say it's been tough, but it's been some long runs, some 20-mile runs and stuff like that. Stuff that I haven't done a lot of. Um, the salt flats will be pretty flat, but you still will be at altitude about 4,000 feet of altitude, which is a lot because I'm sitting at 100 feet here. So the training, nutrition, trying to figure that out is key as far as nutrition and my nutrition ain't been that great, so I'm still working on that. But I got about 5 weeks to kind of dial the rest of that in. But training's been good. I had a couple people come out with me on some long runs and stuff like that. But just trying to get the strength work in. Still, you got to get the strength work in, your squats, your deadlifts, and things that's going to help you be durable while you're out there. The good thing is it's not going to be hot. It's going to be around 68 degrees.
Nice.
So it's not, extremely hot. But again, I just wanted to do something that was going to, push me. Because I know people think, okay, you did the Grand Canyon with all this elevation. Okay, now you're going to the desert and the salt flat. That's night and day. The challenge is being in the salt flat with all that salt blowing around for
Yeah.
30 plus miles. That's the challenge alone right there. Just
Yeah.
trying to be out there, breathing that in, again, being at altitude and stuff like that. So it's not as easy as some people might think versus me doing the Grand Canyon was a big thing. This is big. Again, it's nothing out there. I think it's one tree out there, or something like that. Like one tree out there, they said. But
Yeah.
so far the training has been good. I got a couple of good dudes going coming out there with me. Vic is up in the air. We'll see what he gonna do if he make it out there. If he make it out there, that's a good thing. We can like get him out there. My thing is always trying. It's a very short window.
It's and I talked to you. I talked to this woman named Amanda who trains at my gym, who does ultras, and she, it's doable, but it would be very difficult. And it's not that like that's the thing that's pushing me back. I have to be smart about what my body can handle. So that's where I'm like, I'm going to do a particular like distance this weekend. I did 2 8s. I did an 8 miler on Monday, did an 8 yesterday. I did a hybrid workout this morning, and I'm going to we'll see how long I go on Saturday. The goal is to do 16.
Okay.
And put that into context. What's that? 8 plus 8 plus 16 is 32.
30, yeah.
So pre Hyrox Dallas Fort Worth, before deload week, I had 2 30-mile weeks back to back, but that's not the same as doing 16 miles. So it's just like you said, you had a few kinks, but I don't have that much time to have kinks. But I'm like, it's good because I would have never even thought about doing this. So whether it be this year or whether I decide to like plan for another one, it's good to have that bug in my ear because you've done a whole bunch of different like what I consider like hard shit. Like the Grand Canyon. You did the Goggins 48 hour.
I made up my own triple crown. I did a 100-mile bike ride on my birthday, which I did not train for. 3 weeks later, I did the David Goggins challenge. 3 weeks from there, after that, I did the Grand Canyon. So it was I call it a triple crown. Just doing some hard shit.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to just do something. It wasn't about racing. And I wanted to bring, just like the Grand Canyon, I wanted to bring some people along with me to see how I see things from my lens, how, I want to train and it's not about racing. It's about experience, and doing something hard. Cause a lot of people don't, push themselves. I mean, you've done Hyrox and you know what your body can do and just pushing yourself to the limit, and I just felt that I wanted to do outside of competition, just do something that was going to push me, something I haven't done, so that's what it's about. And I want to bring people with me. So if I say, hey, Dan, I'm doing X, Y, Z, I don't know what's on your schedule, but I'm gonna give you 6 months or 7 months. This is what I'm thinking about doing. Do you want to come? I'm gonna put it out there. So, you might already have something planned, but I like to put it out there so, people see the picture like, oh, I didn't get invited. No, I'm gonna invite you, but I'm gonna invite people that I think that's capable of doing it too. I'm gonna handpick people who I think that's capable of doing it. I'm not gonna just invite everybody because everybody is not willing to put the work in. I know you guys willing to put the work in, so I'm gonna put it out there. Wherever you come, that's different. But I will let you know, hey, I want you to come out. I think you'll be a good addition out here. I know you put in work. Hey, this is what we're going to do. So,
and I resonate with that a lot, man. Like what you said earlier, I had like some past episodes. Just we don't want to run 31 miles, but how we feel after and how it makes us we bulletproof our mind, that we silent the little bitch inside, and by doing something crazy hard, you just feel so good. Like you can just take on anything, if my business is down in income, like I know how to buckle down. We can do it. Like there's harder shit out there. So that's cool, man. We all haven't seen our full potential yet. So it's just, we think that's our limits, but there's more in the tank. And I think people are missing out on opportunities by not doing hard stuff.
I mean, I think a lot of people scared to get out their comfort zone. Of course, I'm here with you guys. I know you guys not scared to be out your comfort zone. So that's why we're sitting here together now. But a lot of people race for fun. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that. But I always tell people if you're going to race, it's not about podium or anything. You're just having fun. Still be at your best doing the race.
Your best self.
Yeah, be at your best self. It's not about, I have people tell me, oh, I'm not trying to podium. I'm like, you can still do this workout. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
can still be your best version,
Yep.
having fun doing this race. Like, it's not always about podium. It's not, it's just about getting out there, not, uh, feel like you want to throw up at the end. You want to be in shape. Like you want to
Yeah.
have if you want to have fun. I don't use the word fun for a race. You probably never hear me use the word fun. But
Yeah.
it's people that have fun, that's fine. But be your best version of that when you go out there and do it. And that's what I like to try to push people to do. Go out there and do your best.
Yep,
Yeah.
and I agree. I told my wife like I was a second off from getting the age group podium for my, and then I told my wife about it, and she's like, "Well, are you like, did you go there to get a podium, or did you go there to be better?" And I was like, she knows how to read me, and I was like, she's so right. Like so what? I won the day. Like I felt like I was taking souls out there. Like I felt like I was my best self. I was running better. I demolished the sled while there was like guys falling on the sled or complaining about the incline. I was just like a machine. So I won the day. It took a lot of like internal like realizing like, okay, it that's that close, but that's not meant. Like I didn't even buy the pictures for the Hyrox Miami because I got something better coming. Like there's something else in the future.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, I think it's good to have a balance of, if you're going to be active, have a balance of experiences where you show up one day to compete, to, see who you can best that day. And then other days you show up to see if you can best yourself or just see if you can,
Mm-hmm.
finish, right? So that's how I look at, like the salt flats. It's like I'm trying to finish this thing to say that I did this unique. To me, it's unique. Obviously, there's a space of people, on Strava who do like they do is ultras, so it's like nothing
Mm-hmm.
to them. But then
I
Right.
it's
think you're
like,
gonna do it. I think you're gonna do it. I already know you're gonna do it.
Hey, look, I
we'll
told
see.
him, and that's the thing. I told him when I did the Grand Canyon from everything I was doing, I only trained specifically 5 weeks for the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
People don't understand. It was only specifically 5 weeks. I already have fitness. He already has fitness. He just need to know how long he can run. He already has fitness.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, again, we'll see that. So what I would be honest, this is
It's
the thing. After Dallas Fort Worth High Rocks, and I saw my time. I saw my heart rate because I wore a heart rate monitor for the first time during a race, like a chest strap. I always wear my watch, and I was like, man, like, yeah, that was rough. Like, it was. I got slower because I wasn't able to do any long runs. So I was like, I need to get back into that now, and I also wanted to remove the stress of trying to potentially qualify in Anaheim
hmm,
for world championships. And I was like, I don't even want to deal with that because I know where my fitness is today. I know what the field is. So I don't want to be delusional about what just happened because it just happened. You know what I mean? Like for me to qualify, I would need to at least be in this particular realm. And I know I can be in a particular realm, but when you come back off of an injury, and I would consider it, it's like it could have turned into a major injury, but I like really like stepped back from, like, I couldn't do any long bike rides, I couldn't do any long runs,
oh,
none of that, right? Because it was a hip thing. So,
oh yeah, your hip.
um, but once I felt that I didn't have any pain during the race and no irritation, I was like, well, that's a win, right?
Right.
Now I can get back into like what I know I need to be doing and not worry about trying to qualify in 4 weeks, right? But I was like, but this right here gives me another like thing to look towards, as it's not a qualifying thing, it's just a training thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a preparation thing. Can I like focus to prepare for something that I know is going to be challenging, and that will kind of give me that push for when I do High Rocks in New York, right? So now I'm
yeah.
Right.
already in the zone, and now I can tune up at that point. So That's really the main thing. And then I got a birthday coming up, so it's like it's
That's
like you
that's
gotta
gonna
hit
spike
that.
your training up right there.
Yeah, man, you gotta hit that pre 40. You know, what can you do before you turn 40, right?
Yeah.
Just train.
Yeah, and that's what I said. Like I said, when I did that 100-mile bike ride on my birthday, somebody said, "Why did you do that for your birthday?" And I said, "Why not?
Yeah, it's reminds you you're alive.
Why not?" It took me 7.5 hours. I mean, untrained. People were still at work when I was done.
Hmm.
It wasn't like I was doing anything on that day. It was middle of the week, so it's like, why not do it? Took a whole bunch of phone calls, but it was still the right thing to do. So we can't just do this. I don't want to do the same thing over and over um, for my birthday or just in life.
Yeah,
I want to experience some different things. Yeah.
I hear that.
So, I mean, that's cool, but what do you think? I don't know. I was going to ask you, what do you think will be next after that? But that's not really relevant. I'll ask you after, right? I don't even want you to put that in your mind right now. Just stay where you're already at, and you know what I mean. So I know that's next for you. I haven't confirmed what's next for me, but I do have a couple things on the list. What's next for you, Dan?
Right now, I just feel like I found my North Star again with Hyrox and just training as much as I can for Hyrox. I don't know. It's just I feel like I'm kind of meant for it, so I'm just going with it. Just trying to stick to something. Deca's gonna take a hit, but I feel like if I just train Deca for 2 weeks, I think I'll be fine.
Do you? So you trying to do High Rocks World Championship at some point, like to travel over wherever is that? Like when they do, are you or no?
Not this season, I don't think. That's not in the cards for my family to go over there.
Okay.
I thought about going to Anaheim, and then the race in Hyrox was supposed to be that mindset, like, hey, if I randomly don't train for Hyrox and I get a podium spot to go to World Championship, then I would say, all right, I'm going. It's meant to be, right?
Would you feel definitely? So would you feel more accomplished being winning World Championships, like first place podium in High Rocks or Deca? Like which one will feel more
I
accomplished?
feel like Hyrox is more of a like an
Okay.
absolute world
Okay.
championship.
Okay.
So I mean, Deca was really mostly U.S. people, but it should be bigger this year and harder this year, I think. But overall, when you're beating people from Spain and like different countries, that's that's the ultimate, to be honest with
Okay.
you. Yeah. But
Okay.
Deck is still fun as shit.
Yeah, it's completely
It
different. I
hurts.
think the marketing is different. Like the demographic is kind of different too, because their Deca is very broad. You know, they got Deca Strong, Deca Mile,
Yeah.
and it really is the fitness race for everybody.
Yeah.
High Rocks is not for everybody, and
It's not for
I
everybody.
know they try to make it seem like it is.
It is not for
It is
everybody.
not for everybody, and I don't even want anybody listening to this like thinking that. I'm not saying don't try it,
Yeah.
but it just realize it's a long race, and I
When you
think
And
get
that's
that
what people don't understand is 6 miles. I mean, not saying 6 miles is breaking records, but I'm just putting in the running part of 6 miles.
yeah,
Okay. If you ain't running 6 miles, just in general, put it through your head. You ain't running 6 miles or willing to run 6 miles. Like that's not. I'm just being real. It's not the race for you.
yeah,
And that's not even. I'm not even counting stations. I'm not even counting sleds and all that stuff. I'm just talking about the 6 miles.
I'm gonna say
Six
10
miles.
miles. To be
Yeah, I'm just saying. But
realistic.
some people don't run 6 miles. But I mean, you need to be running more than 10 miles, honestly. But
yeah.
that's not even talking about the stations and all the strength work you need just to make it through. It's a long race.
It
Mhm.
is.
It's not
And
for a
it's
Deca.
funny to see people like coming out of their first lap, like you got like a 20-year-old just bolting right by you, and then out of nowhere you see him like after burpee broad jumps. They're like, oh, it's my life.
Yeah, I watched when I did that first High Rocks mixed double. I seen people coming in, they had the chest poked out. They was like, "I'm ready."
Ready for that
Now
first sprint.
Oh,
they were
that's
ready for
how I
that
was.
first.
That's
They
how I
ready for
was
that first
my
sprint.
first race. My first Hyrox, I was like, oh yeah, better be no. It was bad.
Total difference, right? It was totally different, right? And I seen people's faces at the end. Yeah, I was on the
At the
podium
end,
looking at. Yeah,
you see people's faces on the first lap, like the
no, I'm
crowd.
talking about. I'm talking about. I'm talking about afterward. Afterward, when I'm standing on the podium looking
No,
out of the crowd, and I'm seeing people's face like,
I think when you realize you have a third lap, you're like, all right, something's got to change.
Yeah, like I've had some conversations with some people after the races that were in my heat, and
that's what I'm talking about.
and then you get they tell you like, man, I thought I was gonna show up here and like because they see the marketing of the sled push,
Yeah,
and you see they go on the internet and everybody's talking about the sled. I mean, like the sled is one station, well, the
yeah,
sled pull, which is still like something I got to really really work on.
yeah.
Um,
That's still my kryptonite too.
but like that's only two things. If you're a strong guy or lady and you do like 30-minute or 25-minute hit metcons or whatever the case is, this is not that. This is
It's
Yeah,
not the
not
same
that.
thing.
It's not
You
yeah.
that.
just got to be prepared to be out there for. You should be training for like 90 minutes sometimes, at
It
least
is a
at a
half
minimum.
marathon. It is a
Yeah,
half marathon hard effort.
yeah,
It,
Yeah,
that's not the effort you putting out.
yeah.
because all
Yeah.
that power, like obviously, like I know I have power, but that is not what this is about. Power is like a percentage. If you had to get a pie chart, I don't know. What would you put power at on the pie chart for Hyrox? Because it's there. You got to have some
Well,
power to be good. But
maybe 33%. I mean, I don't know.
I'm gonna
It's
put
not
it.
a
I'm gonna
majority.
put it down to like maybe 20%.
Yeah,
Because Dan, you be crushing that roar and skier. You hammering
yeah,
that away, and that's. I mean, that's power.
Well,
That's when you're using your power right
that's
there.
sustained
Sustained
power.
power,
So,
right?
and I'm thinking about power. Like you think of a power athlete, you think of a
yeah.
person squatting 500 plus pounds and deadlifting for 3 reps or whatever the case may be. That's only going to carry you but
I
this
don't.
far.
I don't even
Yeah.
do much. I mean, I never did any of that, and then I hired Jade as a coach, and for like 3 months, that's all I did was strength training. Like I turned into this like ball of muscle that can't run.
Hmm.
And I just been staying away from it, to be honest with you, man. I keep it dumbbells. I keep it. I stay away
Mm.
from that stuff now. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I still do it, but I've added in now. I'm doing this box squat, 20 rep, 5 rounds, like box squat thing, and like once a week. And I'm just like, it's not heavy, but it's heavy enough.
What's
Yeah,
the
To
weight on? What's the weight on that?
I think so. I'm gonna add weight every week. Um, I think the first week I did like 185.
Oh, you doing 20 reps for 5 rounds?
Yeah, with 60 seconds rest in between each.
Ooh.
that's what you need if you're doing Hyrox training, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it's
and
not
I
just
still
power; it's how long can you be strong.
and you
Mm-hmm.
still want to get some power in there. You still want to do some
Yeah,
heavy stuff, but I'm like, I've done enough of that now. I gotta scale back on that and get in that the thing where you sweating at the end of the workout. So,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah.
but I don't know, man. So this was good. I enjoyed this live. I think we got to do more of this. Um, and I had to go in earlier and I got it connected. It didn't like automatically connect like I thought it was going to be, but it's connected though. So,
Cool.
but any last words? Let's start with my man Spartan Soldier 2.0.
Oh man, just ready to go. I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm ready to fast forward this season, man. And make some things happen, man. Get this salt flat over, and I got some other stuff coming behind, right behind that. It ain't out there yet, but it's some other stuff coming right behind it. Some low key stuff, but I got some good things, planned coming up. Um, and that's where I'm at, man. But most people know where to find me at on IG, Spartan Soldier 2.0. I know where to find you guys at. I'm here if y'all, you need any information, whatever I got, y'all
Absolutely.
got.
Yeah, man.
All right,
Book of
Dan.
wisdom.
What you got, Dan?
Uh last year, my 35 to 39 in Hyrox. So I kind of plan on going out swinging and just giving my all. And I mean, I've just been surprising myself with my fitness, and I just feel like just the sky's the limit. Just focus on man in the mirror, stay away from comparisonitis, and keep growing this podcast because it's cool. Because I keep someone can mention like 10 things. If I could take one one thing that man's doing that changed my life, it's like it's almost like Transformers kind of thing. Like you're kind of taking that skill from their knowledge and experience, and that's what it's all about, just being a better man. And
Yeah, for sure.
I got more to give, man. I'm just trying to give to the world of content, but also mainly just to be a better man for my kids. But one day people will pass away, so some things are gonna get hard, and I'm gonna think about that Hyrox race in the fucking in the soft sand, and I'm gonna be like, if I could do that, I can handle this. And that's the message I want to share.
That's what's up, man.
Oh yeah, shout out your show.
Yes, Competitive Edge podcast, and I'm over here talking in the podcast voice. But it's an awesome show. We got like E-Rock, Dylan Scott, Tom Hogan, Mark Gaudet. We had Megita, Joseph Vizzi, bunch of people. Scheduled all the way to late July. I wish I could do more podcasts, but once a week is the best thing for my schedule for my family. That's it. It's a good show. Check it out, and we'll be collaborating as much as possible.
Definitely.
For sure.
Definitely.
What about you, Vic?
I'll just say this is fun. This is
31 miles.
We'll see. We'll see.
You see him out there.
You guys will know if I end up doing it. But anyway, I just want to say it's fun to be back in the podcast space. I had a podcast in the past. It wasn't related to any of this stuff, and that was fun. Like we did that from 2016 to 2020, and a lot of cool guests. It was in person, but the world changed, and now this video stuff has become like very normal. So
Right.
I'm just glad to be back in this space with a topic or a sphere of topics that I think is needed, and not necessarily what they call the manosphere, where you have all these relationship based shows. Or I'm like, what are these people talking about? Like something of like some meat and potatoes and what we have to say and what I think what we're doing. I think it's a value to share these experiences. So I just want to thank everybody for listening, who's listening live, and whoever's going to catch the recording of this. And just stay tuned for Now Until Up and the Competitive Edge. And for my guy Marquette, Spartan Soldier 2.0. And that's it. We'll sign off.
All right, brother.
All right.
Talk with you. Peace.
Thanks, guys.